Those are the type of plays he's capable of making. Last year's most valuable player of the final series, and they're going to need all of his skills to try and get over the top of this lead that Wollongong have going into the fourth.
Look at Oscar Foreman just sitting off the corner.
Wilkinson has squirted up the side of his hand. Saville skips it to Ubaka. His three ball just rings out. Jackson with the board in traffic.
Craig just dodged the ball, and that was wide open. Normally go down from Ubaka. Oh, that's too easy.
Jackson, Abercrombie. Nice hesitation move. His floater's off the mark. Davison grabs the board. Martin turning the corner before the shot.
Well, I don't think there's any doubt that Wilkinson's targeted off the on-balls as well, especially in transition. I don't think that's a good move.
Reese Martin in attack mode.
And the point you make, you got Ubaka out there and Reese Martin can both put the ball to the floor, whereas the Hawks haven't had that all year. They've usually got catch-and-shoot guys out there.
Martin gets it into Oscar Foreman. His fall away is good.
And he feels like he can make anything tonight.
Oscar Foreman's only missed 2 shots tonight for his 26 points. Jackson.
Keep it off.
Oh, gets it to Bacona. He's way off the mark long.
Well, I know the way Gordy coaches the game, so he will not guard him. Probably even if he makes a shot, Bacona, he'll still find his man sagging off into the paint. That's a good strategy.
Davison, tough ball range, good.
Balls are going their way tonight.
Everything dropping for Wollongong. That ball was about 10 foot and 2 inches off the ground because it was super flat. As it's gone down, timeout on the court to the New Zealand Breakers, who have got a mountain to get over. 68-56.
Yep, not all DIY projects are as easy as making great tasting Cooper's DIY beer.
You guys have got to talk it up. You got to know where the shooters are. Okay? You guys make sure we're naturally going. Okay? This possession, till they score, we're in this. Okay? You're at the top, you're at the back. Then go back to zone. So show something different. Okay? Offensively, push the ball, make them players. Hawks, 1, 2, 3.
Well, Gordy's going to continue to mix up his defense, and when he goes into the zone, he is concerned that guys like Bacona will send screens off the ball to get their shooters open like Wilkinson, but they're looking really good tonight, Steve. The Hawks are looking very, very good, and 8 minutes to go. Are the Breakers still asleep, or do you think they're going to pick it up?
They're going to have to pick it up. They're going to have to pick it up. If they're talking about a championship, you do have to go to on the road in a best-of-3 series. Well, teams are going to be watching this game, and teams will be packing it in against them as well.
Yeah, well, have the Hawks got their mojo back at home? They're looking at 2 in a row if they get this.
Pledger, point-blank range, comes up with a blank. Mika Bacona with the hustle, but will go the other way.
Maybe the Hawks are New Zealand's bogey team.
Maybe. Just as Adelaide has beaten the Perth Wildcats twice this year.
That's true. Both teams on the bottom of the ladder.
And the 2 teams on top. Ubaka with a mismatch. Just blows past Pledger, but he gets a piece of that one. Tried to kind of on the half beat get that one off quick.
Well, the Breakers are going to need some quick hitters. You're 13 points down, 7 to go. They need to get to the point. And the man that can get to the point is C.J. Bruton. They need to find some shots for C.J. Bruton to get back into this game from the three-point line.
I think they're going to have to go about it differently than dribble penetration and kick, because that paint has 5 guys in it, or at least 4 in it, waiting for the dribble penetrator.
Well, there's still the option of getting the ball to Takano with his man sagging off and just going and getting a dribble handoff, and CJ should be able to get a wide-open 3 from that.
Well, it sounds as if the Perth Wildcats tried to pack the paint against New Zealand last week, and Cedric Jackson was hitting the threes.
Well, the other thing that's hurt New Zealand's the turnovers, Steve.
CJ to Vacona.
So you're not guarding Vacona. Go and set a screen.
Jackson for 3. That's off. Martin to Saville. Back to Martin.
This is probably the smartest game I've seen the Hawks play this year.
Jackson with the steal. Boy, he is just clever on D.
Yeah, he might have been Darryl McDonald then, but they're not guarding him either, Steve. Look where Glenn Saville is right now. There you go. There's a wide-open look for CJ.
CJ off the back of the iron. The tip goes to Oscar Foreman.
Too little, too late, maybe. They come down and just work the ball until they get an easy look. Milk that clock.
Wollongong need to continue to put heat on the board. Ubaka with a mismatch. Goes off his leg. Martin. He didn't get it off in time.
Oh, his eyes lit up. He thought he was going to get an easy layup.
Substitutions out on the floor. Dylan Boucher and Daryl Corletto. The perimeter punch checks back into the game for New Zealand. But Corletto still only on 15 points. He hasn't scored in the second half.
Well, I think in order to unpack this plan, I mentioned it at halftime, you asked me, Steve, I think the Breakers should go small and play Bruton and Corletto together with Cedric Jackson. Maybe too late.
That's tipped. Let's go back to Wollongong. Ball was tipped on the pass.
I thought you having a 3 in the corner. That's why I was happy to let it go.
Martin with plenty of time on the shot clock. Saville back to Martin. Ball away by Reese Martin is short. Wollongong needs to continue to put pressure on New Zealand by putting points on the board. New Zealand get a nice hesitation move from Cedric Jackson.
As you mentioned, Steve, even though the paint's back, he still finds a way to get in there and get a layup.
And get a layup with all that traffic in the paint. Ubaka trying to milk a foul as Oscar Foreman brings it up. Still plenty of time for New Zealand to get back in it, but they need stops.
Well, the advantage is with the Hawks. They can just milk the clock. They got a nice little double-digit lead. Then go on an on-ball, late clock.
Martin.
I'd like to see him put the ball in your back's hand, though. Late clock. Martin's just not finishing.
Ball's deflected by Corletto, but the offensive rebound allows Wollongong to take more precious time off the clock.
Well, Tyson Demos coming in for Reese Martin. That's a good substitution. Put the ball in Ubaka's hand. Tyson Demos has had a pretty good shooting night, so if he gets him open, he's going to knock him down.
Playing with a lot of confidence tonight on the offensive end is Tyson Demos. Davison, good quick move, but he comes up short.
And you know, the other thing is there's no pressure on the Hawks. The season's over for them. You know, they've got nothing to lose, so they should be playing loose, Steve.
Jackson again, but is followed by Boucher, and he makes the tough layup. You saw how long it's been since the Hawks have had a field goal.
Yeah, Boucher sniffing that Tyson Demos ain't a ball handler. There it is, a turnover.
They sure sensed that, didn't they? They attacked the non-ball handler. Tyson Demos has the ball go off his leg. the lead has been trimmed down to single digits. 69 to 60. 4:45 to go as Wollongong are hoping the clock is still their ally.
Well, I think it is, Steve. There's no question. But if the Breakers score here, we've got a game, because 4 minutes is a long time in basketball, as we know. And, you know, I can recall coming back, coaching the Hawks, coming back, Adelaide being 14 down with 3 minutes to go and getting up and going into overtime and winning. 14 points with 3 minutes to go. Yeah. Sounds like ridiculous, but that's what happened here one night. And it wasn't an ordinary Adelaide team, by the way.
Yeah, we've seen some great finishes over the years, and boy, I remember Steve Woodbury hit one against the Adelaide 36ers in Brisbane. After John really hit one, hit a three to put Adelaide up by 1 with 1.2 seconds left. Steve Woodbury caught one from three-quarter court, a pass from three-quarter court, turned on the money and just drilled a three.
And there was a finisher in the clutch from Kansas he played at, didn't he?
He played at Kansas.
School too.
You know, he doesn't get mentioned in the conversations about some of the NBL's all-time best. He'd be in my top 5.
And he was like a 6'5". He could play 1, 2, and 3. He could switch on everybody defensively. He'd post the smaller guard up, and he'd take your 3-man off the dribble. You're right, Steve. One of the best to play, and a smart player.
He was unstoppable. I saw him give the Magic 47 when they were loaded with defenders.
Well, I wanted to recruit him when he was injured, but we still couldn't afford him.
He was too much money on one leg. Bruton gets it into Boucher.
This is a foul.
Abercrombie puts it on the floor. His floater comes up short. CJ for 3. It's off the mark. CJ misses an opportunity.
How often do you see that offensive rebound in a 3? Normally CJ would just knock that down with his eyes closed. But I like this Bruton and Corletto on the floor together with Abercrombie. Small lineup I spoke about, Steve, because they are desperate. But it's very difficult to help off with this lineup.
Ubaka gets into the lane and he's fouled.
And this is what the Hawks didn't have. Someone that can put the ball to the deck, either get to the free throw or finish like Ubaka when you're in a tight situation.
Ubaka just closing the gap. I don't know how that was a foul on Cedric Jackson.
Well, I don't think it was.
No,
I agree with you. I think it was at all.
Ubaka just dropped his shoulder.
Hawks are getting some nice calls tonight.
Sure
I can't remember getting this many when I coached.
I knew that was coming. That's when, like when Andrew says something about not getting calls. When he didn't get a call, everyone was so surprised. Hawks have been able to keep New Zealand at bay. The lead's back up to double figures, 71-60.
And then look at the goods, too. This is a very important possession for the Breakers.
Jackson.
That's a foul. Wow.
And Jackson,
he's just upset. He has not gotten anything all night. And Jackson's been talking to Roger Shields all night. He hasn't gotten anything. Wollongong have taken care of business tonight, though. Ubaka catch and shoot from the wing. It's off the mark. Jackson with the long rebound. Jackson turns the corner. Ubaka trying to find a teammate. He's got to get it over the half-court line. They do. Wollongong have played with tremendous poise tonight. We got to give them a lot of credit from the tip against the sluggish New Zealand Breakers. Broke the game open early and have not looked back. Well, Ubaka brings, I spoke about this about the tie. He just brings a presence. You've got a guy that will make plays too. I'm surprised the ball's not in his hands.
taking their time. Reese Martin's pull-up jump shot. Good.
That's what Reese Martin's got to do. If they go under the screen, he's got to knock that shot down. And the timing of that is really good with 3 minutes to go now, 11-point lead.
Wollongong on top by 11, under 3 minutes to go against the New Zealand Breakers. Have had the answers against the defending champions all night long.
Just let them have possession. So 30-40 up the floor, make something happen. If they get it over the center line and they start just bouncing it, we've got to go and hit it. All right, just the closest guy go and hit it and make it, shoot a gap after it and then make some plays. On-ball screens, go ahead and blitz it unless it's down to like 5 seconds in the shot clock. On-ball screens, just go ahead and blitz it now unless it's real late in the shot clock. Offensively, we get stops, we've got to fly, all right? Fly down, quick to the basket, okay? If it's walk-up situations, go ahead and run thumbs, and I don't care who's got it. Like if you bust it out, you can run a thumb, all right? Go ahead, run thumbs. Have G as the screener hard, and then Tommy pulling out behind it. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
New Zealand have definitely taken better care of the basketball. Only 4 turnovers here in the second half, but they just have not been able to contain Oscar Foreman. 26 points. Well, what's foul trouble for both teams? Only Dylan Boucher and Gary Wilkinson on 4.
Well, the Hawks run a lot of on-ball screens, so what Andre means by blitz is as soon as they come off the on-ball this time, they're going to double-team it and try and force some turnovers. But if it's late clock, they're going to switch. And I think that's a good move.
Corletto. Wilkinson, single coverage against Saville. He gets all the way to the rim, just a little too strong for the swingman.
That's a good move, trying to make Foreman bring up the ball.
It's going to be close. Yeah, there's the 8-second violation.
Gordy's just upset about that turnover. He sees himself in a winning position. He wants this one.
C.J. Bruton. Abercrombie for 3. That's long.
It's looking like a Hawks victory tonight, Steve.
New Zealand have had their opportunities to get this thing a little closer. They've missed some good looks outside the three-point line. Hawks bring it up against the pressure. Running some more time off the clock. Katron is in the handle position. Ubaka to Katron. Gets to the rim. 1 second left on the shot clock. That should seal the deal. Wollongong on the verge of a huge upset.
Hawks are the bogey team for the Breakers. Gordy's up. This gets them off the bottom of the ladder too, Steve.
Big win for Wollongong. Everybody's playing for pride. And they have, from the tip, they have been the superior team tonight.
They've been consistent. They've played to the game plan.
Jackson misses the layup.
They just can't finish the Breakers.
Saville turns on the Jets, brings it up for Wollongong.
That's got the ball in the right man's hands now. There you go.
Ubaka finds Saville for the jam. Crowd on their feet here in Wollongong. Corletto comes up short. Wilkinson on the putback. He misses the layup. Celebrations here at the Sandpit.
Give it back to you, Becca.
Katron with the 3. That's off the mark. New Zealand ball. Less than a minute to go. Celebrations have begun already here in Wollongong. They haven't seen many wins.
It's their 3rd home win of the season. That's against the top team. They've beaten them twice now, Steve. As you mentioned, Adelaide have beaten the Wildcats twice.
Jackson's threes off the mark. 2 more possessions left in this game. Ubaka. Oscar Foreman for 3. Yes! Oscar Foreman with 31 points tonight. On fire outside the three-point line. A perfect 7 for 7 on the night. Oscar Foreman and the Wollongong Hawks have done it to the defending champions. 80 to